Hi Jojo, Hope, Dylan and CJ. It's good to have you guys here. So yeah, I've just made sure that YouTube is up and running, and I think it is, so I'll minimize that. Let's just double check. Let's just go onto the YouTube and check that we are good to go. Today's topic is, why isn't God obvious? I mean, some people might say he's obvious, some people might say he's far from obvious. So we are questioning God's realness today. Excuse me while I take a sip of God's blessed liquid, caffeinated coffee. Oh yes. Today I want to just give credit to Dylan O'Brien for providing his message on the realness of God. That's you, Dylan. But CJ, mate, what have you been doing? What kind of music are we making? Are we talking some jazzy numbers, or are we talking some moody stuff? Obviously not poppy stuff. Although you can make some poppy stuff. You been doing any covers? It's been so long. Are you still into a bit of the old Imagine Dragons? Would you ever cover some AJR? I imagine. Dylan, that is you, I think. Yeah, I guess it's you. I'll save you the conversation. God isn't real. Oh, that's what I'd like to see. Some, what is it? Something to work with. A debate, perhaps. And lo-fi hip-hop ambience. Lo-fi, not luffy. Lo-fi hip-hop ambience. And is that what we will find on your profile if we go to it? Lo-fi hip-hop ambience. Mate, I'm going to listen to some of this. This sounds good. Like, could I work to that? Like, could I have that in the background? Or would it be Lexi, or would lo-fi hip-hop be more for chill kind of Sunday afternoon stuff? Or is that kind of walk into a bar and that stuff's kind of playing in the background while you grab yourself a drink? He make Fortnite music parodies. Who does? This Dylan person? Or CJ does? Does CJ make Fortnite music parodies? Mate, I haven't been on your profile enough. Right, just checking that this YouTube's crack-a-lacking. I think it is. YouTube is crack-a-lacking. YouTube is happening. Yep, it's in the bar. Oh, so CJ, stick around and you can advertise it to more people. Lexi Hill is gone. CJ, tell me why God isn't real. Give us your argument. Like, just give us one of your arguments. Like, is it because there's no proof, there's no evidence? Why would you say such a thing? CJ, give us a small argument to go with for this afternoon. I think we might have some people joining. I know one person was asking what time it was on today. But I don't want to be going too long today. I want to show you guys a magic trick soon too. I mean, some of you might have seen it. I did it once for Youthy. So, LFC Leigh. Welcome, LFC Leigh. Good to have you on board. Today's topic is, why isn't God obvious? Discussing the realness of God. Or in CJ's case, the unrealness of God. I'm going to show you one of my one and only magic trick. And if you figure it out, well done. I might even teach you it, depending on how well it goes, because I might fail it. It's been a while since I actually nailed it. So I will make this here coin because it's almost worthless, this tuppence, I'm going to make it vanish and then reappear. I'm going to kill it and resurrect it, so to speak. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Is it the one on your YouTube channel? Yes. So you've seen this, so you already know it. Dylan knows it. Maybe I'm not sure. CJ knows the trick. But I've done it to like some 11-year-olds and fooled them. So maybe it'll fool you. Okay, here's CJ's argument. There's no reason God isn't real. Same way there's no reason God is real. The concept was at core created by the Catholic Church to manipulate the public and gain more dosh. Mate, I can't disagree with the Catholic Church thing. My best friend, that's what really made him rethink his faith when he travelled, because he would lead people around Europe on tours. And hi Anna. My best friend would lead people around Europe on tours, and he learned about the Catholic Church, and all of a sudden he was like, what? What is this? Like, do I even believe in this stuff? So I totally agree with you. Like, the Catholic Church did use it to manipulate the public and gain more dosh, and they did. People had to pay to do churchy stuff, which is such a shame. But that's not to say that, like, that writes off the existence of God. It definitely taints Christianity's name, that's for sure. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't disagree with the Catholic Church abusing their power. IMO. I think I'll wait a little bit longer, and then I reckon I'll wait about 2 more minutes, see if the Murdens show up, or maybe the Johnsons. Otherwise, we've got a Johnson. We got CJ Johnson. Yeah, and I've spoken about like the realness of God with actually your beacon, CJ. With when you were in year 10 or year 9, I kind of brought up a few things. One of the things was like just healings and that kind of thing, and civilized. Just let me finish. Yeah, healings and that kind of thing, and a few of them kind of came up with the idea that it was placebo. People were healed by kind of this idea that, or the concept that when they think they are healed, then therefore they are healed, as opposed to some supernatural kind of intervention. But yeah, I guess there's both different explanations, and if you believe that there is a God, then yeah. Okay, Dylan says, I think like most civilizations at the time Christianity began rising to popularity, most civilizations believed in multiple gods, so one God would be more attractive to like 20. Okay, yeah. Yeah, man. I've been to India, and they've got like thousands of gods. I don't know how. And like when I was there, and I was only there for like 10 days, like there were about 3 different celebrations about 3 different gods. Okay, Dylan, that's why the Catholic Church was like, give us money, as people want their life to be simpler with gods and stuff. Yes, huge manipulation. CJ says, even if God was real, I still wouldn't support it because of his abuse of power. That one time he killed every human ever except one family on a whim. Absolute tyrant. Yeah, there's no debating that. Oh man, the old child story about all the animals being on the ark, but everyone forgets what happened, why they were on the ark. Yeah, and it's a bigger conversation about God and his kind of authority over humankind, and kind of, the reason for him creating us, and what kind of power does he have? Like, is that abuse of power if he eliminates the problem? Big questions there. Really, really deep questions. I mean, if you were God, you'd probably make things fit you more. I mean, who's going to stop you? Yeah, I mean, God has that power. And what I see CJ bringing up is that perhaps it's an abuse of power. But if everyone's messing everything up, what do? Do you try and fix it? Or do you just keep it the way it is and let it get worse and worse and worse? I'm no scholar. I'm no theological, intelligent professor. But, you'd want to sort it out. If that was your creation and they were messing things up, you'd want to sort it out. And I guess the flood was one way that they did it. And then, that God did it. And then I guess he finished all of it. He made it all he wrapped it up with the crucifixion of Jesus and the resurrection, where all sin was kind of paid for there. And then he could be then he didn't have to do any of that anymore. But that's a really good point, CJ. And I'm not saying you have no grounds to feel that way towards God, but in the end, God is the judge. He is the creator, so he makes the calls, kind of like what Dylan's saying, which is hard to grasp with when we're just used to our own justice on this earth, to have someone above that justify the devil. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Just rebel. I'm getting out of here, says the devil. I'm going to do what I want. Right, do we have Social Fish here? Yeah, we got Hannah Murden on board as well. The question, is God real, could be interpreted in two different ways. Is God real, or is God physically real? Both are different debates with different arguments. It's so true. I mean, God was physically real through Jesus, if that's where we're going. But yeah, his physical realness is no longer on this planet, I guess. But there's the Holy Spirit, which is amongst us. But no, he's not walking around as a human. Dylan says, Hi Hannah, great to have you here. We're having some deep conversations, and we've got some. It's great. We've got CJ, who is a deep thinker. We've got Dylan, who is a deep thinker, and I know that you are a deep thinker as well, Social Fish. So great to have you on board. Is the devil that bad if he punishes bad people? That's a big question. I don't even know. This is when I'd like Felix to come in, because he's got lots of good opinions on that. But if the devil... the devil... He's not necessarily punishing people. He's just taking people away from God, he doesn't want God to have the glory, He wants to take that glory away from God, and so he'll do whatever it takes at our expense, We are God's most prized possession, so why not target God's prized possession? That's where he's getting at there, I think. Again, I'm no scholar, but that's what I think's going on there. Just sipping on my coffee. Hannah, we're just talking about God's realness. Why do you think God is real or not real? Or what are the arguments you've heard, and what are the arguments for and against God's realness? Because I guess the reason that question has come up, because the topic for today is, why isn't God obvious? So yeah, what do you think, Hannah? What are your thoughts? And while you're thinking, I've got a small child's game for us to all enjoy, because I'll just wait for your comments, but I want to play a little spot the difference, because one of the points I want to say to CJ, Dylan and Hannah is that if you do seek God, you will find him. That's the big point I want to come through today, and that's the point that will come through on the video that I've edited together with some of Dylan's thoughts. So if you do seek God, you will find him. So what has Dylan said? Could both the devil and God be equals, as both have religions that follow them? If they were equal, would they be equally evil and equally good? Or I don't. If they were equal, would they be equally evil and equally good? I think something to understand is that the devil and God aren't equal. The devil was made by God. The devil was one of God's angels, so they aren't equal. And the devil decided to rebel, to do what he wanted, And so he just went on and did his own thing, and he's just, excuse the pun, hell bent on bringing everyone down with him, because he doesn't want God to be up there on his throne. He wants the throne. Social Fish says he answers prayers and he is not obvious because that's not faith. We don't need faith if God is obvious. Good point. Okay, Cameron, I think you're Team Red, aren't you, Cameron? I'm just going to go ahead and start and show this image. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just going to show this image. I'm going to break it up. I'm going to do a little spot the difference, get you to tell me what you think is different. And then I think we've got one of Felix's friends joining us. Can you tell me... Where is it? Oh, it's not there. Everyone thinks God is real because they were told so. People who are never explicitly told that Christianity exists and everything it contains exists will act as if it doesn't and be none the wiser. Yeah, that's true, Felix. CJ. Very true. Back on topic, if God was obvious, faith would be useless. It's true. But he can be so obvious sometimes. He can be so obvious sometimes, but not so obvious other times. Yeah, and that's, I think, another reason why he's not obvious. I'm just talking. None of this is prepared right now, what I'm about to say. We're kind of just going off the cuff. But, there's a mystery about God because he is God. He's not a human. He is actually God, which is above and, out of our understanding. So there are some things we'll never understand until, I guess, we meet him face to face in the afterlife. CJ... It's because if it isn't natural to humans, God only exists when people talk about it. That's because it isn't natural to humans. God only exists when people talk about it. So I think CJ, what you might be saying is that God is a kind of manufactured by people's imaginations, and so therefore people only believe in him because they're told. Interesting. Very interesting. Very deep. Yeah. But then you've got all the revelations and people encountering God. And I'm pretty sure there's stories of people encountering God without being told about him, or being led a certain way and then someone telling them about God afterwards. There are crazy stories out there. The authenticity of those stories, I guess, can be questioned if you want to say that, but those stories are out there of people encountering God without ever hearing about him before, this, because that's one of the big questions that people have asked, what about these people who are on an island who never hear about God? What happens to them? All right, CJ. Thanks a lot, mate. We go live every Sunday at 3 p.m. to talk about stuff like this, and we're there on Wednesdays as well. But I will be checking out that new music in your bio. Thanks, CJ, mate. Great to have you. It's been too long. I've got to go listen to your music instead of listen to you speak, unfortunately. But yeah, great to have you along, CJ. Bye, CJ. Right, Dylan, you were saying the idea of a god was most likely created by civilization who wanted a high authority over their rulers to keep them in check, kind of like God keeps us in check as a higher authority. The idea of a god was most likely created by a civilization who wanted a higher authority over their rulers to keep them in check, kind of like God keeps us in check as a higher authority. He does keep us in check as a higher authority, doesn't he? Yeah, I find great comfort in knowing that there is a God that kind of has our back and can keep me in line, and that I can turn to, and especially in the Bible for guidance, that kind of in a roundabout way keeps me in check. Yeah, I can agree with that. And another reason, I guess one of the reasons we need God, well, first of all, if you believe in God, then you believe He created us, and He created us to need Him. And God meets all of our needs. We have I think we have 4 key needs. It's innocence, belonging, significance, and I forget the other one. But innocence, belonging, and significance. Like, our innocence is met, because we have this need, this core need to feel innocent, to feel like we're okay, that we're right, And God makes us right through Jesus' sacrifice, because we'd never feel right, because we are always making mistakes. But God makes us innocent through Jesus' sacrifice. And then the second need, I was going to say, is significance. We all have this desire to be important and feel important, and God creating us and loving us and valuing us so much gives us that significance. And last, the belonging. We'll always belong, no matter where we are on the planet. We will always belong to God's family. Like, we are His children. So no matter where you are, if you ever feel like you don't belong, you do belong. You belong there because God says so. Dylan, you were saying most of the things I have to say is in my script, so you've heard most of them, and I hate repeating myself. Yeah, mate, and I've repeated your script on the video. It's not my best edit, but it's definitely there. Now, Hannah, you're saying if Jesus' God isn't real, then how can the Bible trying to pretend there is a God? I know, right? How can the Bible be pretending that? Why would they do that? And that's one of, and I'll repeat Dylan for him. That's one of Dylan's biggest points, I think, and really strengthens my faith. He says that the disciples, they went to their death, because of their faith in this God. Why would they, write accounts of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, and go to the grave, to some of them some ruthless deaths, based on a lie? It just doesn't make sense. They were asked to recant their beliefs, and they just wouldn't. And they prefer to die of gruesome death, some of them. But yeah, I am going to leave a link in the bio. There's a different link at the moment, but I'll leave a link in the bio of our video. It'll be on christchurchpennington.com. No, it'll be on our YouTube account at Christchurch Pennington. At the Christchurch Pennington account, it'll be called "Why Isn't God Obvious?" And you can't pretend something's real when it isn't. Who could? Who would? I mean, it's a pretty elaborate lie. If you're I remember lying to my dad about my homework, but I just found it so hard. I guess there are con artists out there that base their lives on lies. But it's not like a con artist is going to die for that lie, They're going to lie until they make enough money, and then when things start looking like there's trouble, they ditch town, And Hannah's also saying she wouldn't pretend that something isn't real if it was. Yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't make sense for the disciples to do that. And that's one of Dylan's big things. A counter argument to that would be people still believe in the tooth fairy and Easter bunny is so true. I wonder how old the oldest person is who believes in the tooth fairy and the Easter bunny. Obviously. Are you sure about that, Dylan? Are you sure? Like, have you checked? Have you seen someone else put money under your pillow? Or has the tooth fairy just stopped visiting you? Is the tooth fairy... Why isn't the tooth fairy more obvious when you become a teenager? You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Hannah, Dylan. The point I come to in the video was this, and I'll wrap up. I'll summarise our top chat for today right now as well. That if you seek God, you will find Him. I can 99%, I'm pretty sure that if anyone seeked God, if that's a word, searched for God, He would reveal themselves to him. And I use I use some analogies in the video. That's my point. And His realness becomes more real the more you seek Him. I still seek God. I still have doubts some days, but I still seek Him. And that's how my faith is strength. And we can strengthen each other's faith as well. Like Dylan, you strengthen my faith, and talking about the disciples. And the video should drop. The video should drop in 1 minute. It should be dropped in 1 minute's time. Dylan, if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Actually, it's not my best edit. I kind of whipped it up as fast as I could this morning. But if you have any ideas on how we can deliver those videos better, let me know. Or we can talk about it when we meet. I think it's either Monday or Tuesday. But yeah. By the way, Dylan, your commentary on the Pac-Man, brilliant. So clear and articulate. And you're backing blue as well, I noticed. So, yeah. I noticed you called it red v yellow v blue as well. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to give to you guys today. Go ahead, watch that video. Do some more research if you like. I forget what next topic is, actually, but I look forward to coming up with that with you, Dylan, and Josh tomorrow or Tuesday. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Goodbye, Hannah. Goodbye, D-Dog. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's going to be a good week this week. I look forward to working with you more this week, Dylan, and maybe even Hannah. Maybe I'll get you on something. Pow. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Relax. God created Sunday to just chill, relax, and find peace in Him. That's a good reminder for me too, actually. Find peace in Him and in the Holy Spirit. Yeah, I think I might seek Him a little bit today. But anyway, bye, guys. So glad you guys came.